Banks freezing accounts. Let's have a look. Good evening, everyone. I'm Florian Heise, and welcome to another episode of Heise Says. I've got my evening stein of coffee, and I hope you've had a good weekend. I thought tonight we would have a look at this article written by Frank Chung from news.com.au, and it's about a Gold Coast tattoo artist, the owner of a tattoo parlor, whose bank accounts were frozen. Now, I have some serious concerns with banks actually being able to pick and choose who they provide services to. We all have heard of many people, due to political association, where businesses have denied them service. Here in Australia, overseas, there are lots of people, particularly on the more conservative side of politics, shall we say, that are banned from using any of these social justice valued products or services. And that I find quite disturbing, particularly now that we have this cash transaction ban already through the House of Reps and heading into the into the upper house, into Senate. I mean, let's have a look at this situation and ask ourselves, do we trust the banks? Do we trust them to not freeze people's accounts? Because you don't, first it's tattoo parlor people, then it's your political ideology. You voted the wrong way. Oh no, your social credit score on Facebook is too low. You can't have a bank account. Or we're limiting your transactions to $1,000 a month. Yeah. So, a Gold Coast tattoo artist says she was treated like a criminal and discriminated against by the Bank of Queensland after it froze all her accounts without warning. So they gave her no warning and froze all her accounts. So they're considering her a criminal. The bank has decided, no, we don't want to have anything to do with tattoo artists or tattoo parlors. So they froze all her accounts just like that. Bianca Rogansack was shocked by the move this week that left her suddenly unable to run her business or pay her suppliers. But Bank of Queensland said the only error on its part was that it let her slip through the cracks when it changed its policies to ban tattoo parlors several years ago. So it's letting her keep her accounts open for now. Now, I was thinking about this because we've got the Anti-Discrimination Act here in Queensland. And I was looking at the reasons why you cannot discriminate against someone. Now, if we have a scroll all the way down here, the preamble, what it's about, we have legislation in place that you can't discriminate against someone with the following attributes: on their sex, their relationship status, their pregnancy, their parental status, their breastfeeding, their age, race, impairment, religious belief or religious activity, political belief or activity, trade union activity, lawful sexual activity, gender identity, sexuality, family responsibility, association with or relation to a person identified on the basis of any of the above attributes. So, does this mean we're allowed to discriminate for people based on their employment or their type of business? Because what this amounts to, the bank is indirectly discriminating against this lady by denying her access to a service because of the type of business that she was in. Because there were some links for tattoo parlors to criminal activities and to bikie gangs years ago. Now, is that fair? Is that reasonable? Should banks be allowed to do that? Then, should people be allowed to discriminate against any of these issues then? What if they discriminate against her for her religious beliefs or an impairment? Going, sorry, you can't have a bank account. We don't like your, political ideology. Just dwell on that, guys. You can't, you can't have it one way or the other. You either got to open it up and allow businesses free reign, or you've got to make it an equal playing field. And the banks now with this cash ban, it's going to force people to use banks for large cash transactions over 10 grand. 10 grand ain't that much, particularly when you're running a business. When you need to pay suppliers. I don't know how much tattoo ink costs. Maybe you can let me know in the comments, guys. But still, it's just ludicrous. The owner of Inkspire Tattoo and Beauty, who has been a customer of the bank since 2012, first discovered her accounts had been frozen when she went to pay a bill on Tuesday. So she'd been a loyal customer for, 7 years? 7 years. That shows you they don't give a damn. My card was declined. I thought that was pretty strange, the 31-year-old said. Later in the day, I couldn't use it. I logged into the bank and I couldn't access my account information. Miss Roggensack, who employs 4 tattoo artists and 3 apprentices. She's got a team of 7 staff and the bank just froze her account. I mean, come on. How anti-business is that? This is just insane. And as hundreds of clients at her Cool and Get a store spent nearly an hour on hold before getting someone on the phone. Well, there you go. There you go. She then spent another hour on the line as the woman went back and forth with her supervisor before finally being told it was a branch issue and that she would have to wait until the next morning. The next morning I got a call from a lass who said, "I'm not sure if you're aware, but 2 years ago we changed our policy and decided we wouldn't have relationships with certain industries such as tattoo shops. They're a bank. How can banks choose to discriminate against certain industries?" I'm sure if someone has a criminal conviction, but then again, HSBC, how many banks help money laundering? Come on. So she said, "I'm not sure how yours managed to slip through." Well, there we go. The bank was incompetent and informing people for a change of policy and then made this person suffer. I'm sure everyone who has faith in the banking system and our banks, I mean, Bank of Queensland, they're not as bad as the big ones, are they? There you go. Miss Roggensack said she was indignant and outraged, but Bank of Queensland said the best it could do was give her until November 11 to find a new bank and remove thousands of dollars from her accounts. So that's tomorrow. She explained that she was leaving the country on Friday and asked how she was going to find a new bank, transfer all her accounts, change all her points of sale systems in that time, but Bank of Queensland wouldn't budge. Well, there you go. It was only after she posted an angry rant on Facebook that attracted hundreds of comments and the attention from the media that she got an email from the bank saying it was a misunderstanding. Well, there you go. I mean, that's the power of social media, isn't it? Because the banks, their reputation is shot anyway, and I mean, I need to find out if my bank has the same policy, because I don't like the idea of them discriminating. So about half an hour later, I got a call from a Bank of Queensland manager to say they were very apologetic, that the policy was under review, and they were happy to continue their banking relationship with me. They gave me $100 to say sorry for your inconvenience. That's disgusting. Miss Roggensack is still deciding whether to switch banks when she returns from overseas. She worries she'll be forced to move anyway if Bank of Queensland reviews its policy and decides to keep it. She needs to take the bank to the Anti-Discrimination Tribunal and needs to make a formal complaint. I mean, I hate these bloody tribunals and things. But, denying of service, either, the banks need to serve everyone or all businesses need to be allowed to discriminate. You can't have it one way or another, guys. It's that simple. So is it going to affect my ability to expand my business and get loans? It's a lot for me to consider, she said. I'm just wondering how many people this has affected and what impact it's had on their business. If she hadn't caused a fuss, Miss Roggensack said it would have been a disaster. It could have potentially cost me thousands, she said. Put it this way, it took me over 4 hours to resolve, and if I was sitting there tattooing you, you would have had to pay me $600. Tattooists make quite a bit of money. They're quite happy to charge us fees and all the extras. Well, yeah, they are. She said Bank of Queensland's approach is archaic. They're saying 2 years ago they decided on this policy. It was probably 3 or 4 years ago that all the licensing and industry regulations were changed and that industry got cleaned up, she said. In 2014, around half of all Gold Coast tattoo parlours were associated with bikie gangs. By Feb 2015, police had confirmed the sector had been cleaned up. Okay, now, do you think the bikie gangs in the tattoo parlours, were they really doing much banking, or was it all cash or under the table? I mean, tattooists now have to have criminal record checks, fingerprinting, palm printing. If they have any criminal involvement, you can't get our license. Our industry has been cleaned up to the hilt. There's no chance of having any laundered money. bikies' underground contacts, Miss Rogan Sachs said. I mean, if you want to launder money, you do it through property. Isn't that how everyone does it? I'm a legal business. I have no criminal record, no blemishes on my banking records, no links or accusations to anything. I've never even had a speeding fine. Wow, she's well behaved. I remember once I went to the motel fights and there was this table, all these chicks all in leather, tattooed to the hilt. And I'm nudging one of my friends. I'm going to look at that lot there because we were all business people. They're just getting drunk. And then they got up at the end. They were raising money. They were a Christian group raising money to build orphanages and schools in Vietnam. So it shows you don't judge a book by its cover. So in a statement, a spokeswoman said Bank of Queensland offered its sincerest apologies for this error. Unfortunately, the customers' accounts were incorrectly frozen due to a failure in our processes, she said. BOQ has worked with the customer directly to reinstate all services. And they only gave her $100. Concerns about money laundering and other illegal activity have led many banks to tighten up their restricted industries policies in recent years. In 2010, Bank of Queensland shut down its Punchbowl branch in Sydney after it was used by a Mexican drug cartel to wash its funds, according to Fairfax. Last year, the Small Business Ombudsman accused the banks of discriminating against legal businesses. It's a bit rich for the banks to decide which industries are moral and which aren't, Kate Carnell said at the time. Well, yeah, why the hell are the banks acting as the moral police? They're banks. They make money off usury. Seriously, if they want to be the moral police, go do it properly and don't make money off that. Go old school. Come on. Bring back the gold standard. Sell gold in the banks. It's hypocritical that banks do not provide services to the adult industry when businesses are appropriately registered and regulated. Access to banking services is essential for a legitimate business to operate. Yeah. Combank, NAB, ANZ and Westpac have been contacted to clarify their policies on doing business with tattoo parlours. A NAB spokeswoman said, as Australia's biggest bank, NAB supports a range of business yada, including tattoo parlours with their banking and finance needs. We regularly review our banking services to various industry sectors and activities. They shouldn't even have the right to do this. If they're implementing a cash transaction ban and forcing more people through the banking system for large transactions, and $10,000 is not a large transaction for a business, they shouldn't be allowed to do that. How the hell can they get away with this? ANZ spokeswoman said, we take our obligation seriously under Australia's equal opportunity and anti-discrimination law and subject to passing our normal policy for retail customers. We have no restrictions on providing products or lending to individuals employed within the tattoo industry. Westpac Group provides financial services to legally operating businesses. Okay, cool. He added, we assess customers and transactions in accordance with our sustainable risk management framework. This includes incorporating environmental, social... Okay, cool. Combank didn't get back to him. I'll have to follow that up. I think this is just ludicrous. That the banks can restrict businesses like that, and they picked a bad photo for the article. Come on, pick one of... that would have been nicer. But, come on... Yeah, I can't say I'm surprised. More people need to be made aware of this. More people need to realize this is the future that we're heading. And that, supporting a cash ban, which most of nearly everyone in the House of Reps did, is disgusting. And these businesses are picking and choosing who they want to be. They're the moral arbiters of our civilization. If you publicly have wrong think and are aligning with the wrong political ideologies, they will remove your ability to buy and trade. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Anyway, guys, let me know what you think. Would you be happy, is anyone going to leave Bank of Queensland over this? Let us know in the comments. Like, share and subscribe. If you enjoy my content and you want to help me produce more, I do have a Patreon and a Subscribe Star. I also have a Amazon referral link and a PayPal, at least for now. And I appreciate everyone's help and support. Have a great last night of the weekend, guys, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye for now.